Hello from VSBA, monitoring legislation that affects school boards across the state. There are many links included in today's post, so be sure to check out the written text for more information. H315, an act relating to COVID-19 relief, passed in the Senate with a proposed amendment on March 24th. The House will be considering the Senate's proposal of amendment tomorrow. This bill includes the reallocation of $15 million for the School Indoor Air Quality Grant Program, $3 million for literacy training, $500,000 to focus on student mental health, $1 million to address truancy, $4 million for after-school and summer programs, $5.5 million to provide summer meals in FY21 and carried forward, and $2.8 million in funding to the Agency of Education to provide technical assistance to schools in their utilization of federal relief funds. S13, an act relating to the implementation of the Pupil Weighting Factors Report, passed in the Senate on March 25th. This bill creates a 6-member task force on the implementation of the Pupil Weighting Factors Report, supported by the AOE, JFO, and the Office of Legislative Counsel. This task force would collaborate with the Vermont Superintendents Association, the Vermont School Boards Association, the Vermont Council of Special Education Administrators, the Vermont Principals Association, and the Vermont National Education Association. The bill includes an appropriation for the task force to retain a consultant who would have expertise and experience in providing advice on Vermont's education funding and tax system, and would be nationally recognized in the field of education funding and tax systems. A report to the General Assembly would include an action plan and proposed legislation to ensure that all public school students have equitable access to educational opportunities. As passed by the Senate, this bill was amended to include Vermont Independent Schools among the list of organizations that would collaborate with the task force. The bill was also amended to state that the task force shall be a legislative task force, and membership would include the chair of the Senate Committee on Finance or designee, the chair of the Senate Committee on Education or designee, the chair of the House Committee on Ways and Means or designee, the chair of the House Committee on Education or designee, the Secretary of Education or designee, and the chair of the State Board of Education and designee. H152, the Yield Bill, passed in the House on March 25th. As reported last week, this bill aims to address 4 issues. The bill sets the uniform non-homestead property tax rate, the property dollar equivalent yield, and the income dollar equivalent yield for FY22. The property dollar equivalent yield would be $11,317. The income dollar equivalent yield would be $13,770. And the non-homestead property for fiscal year 2022 would be $1.612 per $100 of equalized education property values. Further, the bill excludes spending on eligible school construction projects from the determination of excess spending if the project has received preliminary approval from the Agency of Education. The bill provides that no school district's equalized pupil count shall be less than 96.5% of the actual number of equalized pupils in the school district in the previous year. And the bill extends eligibility for merger support grants to all school districts, including those districts that were not required to merge or were merged by the State Board of Education. H81, a bill addressing statewide school employee health benefits, was read a 3rd time and passed on March 26th in the Senate. The Senate did not make any changes to H81 as passed by the House. The bill removes the requirement in current law that the premium responsibility percentages and out-of-pocket expenses for each plan tier shall be the same for all participating employees. Language that the VSBA supported, requiring an arbitrator to balance appropriate access to healthcare benefits with reasonable cost containment to ensure the financial sustainability of the plan, is not in the bill. S100, which would be named the Meals for All Act, was taken up in the Senate last week. The Senate voted to pass over this bill and take it up on April 1st due to concerns about the sources of funds and the funding mechanics. The proposal will result in $24 to $40 million of new education expenditures. In the coming week, the House Education Committee will take testimony on S115, the Senate Miscellaneous Education Bill, and S16, the creation of the Task Force on School Exclusionary Discipline Reform. Thank you for staying connected.